basically being in the playoffs, having to win, you know, and we've continued to win, and now we're basically like in the NFC Championship, and you're playing at home, and you've got a chance to win, to go to the Super Bowl to win the championship. That happens to be at home. So, I mean, what a great setup to have, and so now we've got to go out and execute and win this game to get to the championship.
Does it give you confidence that throughout the conference schedule, that the guys have really kind of handled their business and gone about it with that want-to-know mentality, and that will serve you well this week?
I hope so. I think that, you know, as you look at it, this season's now shaped up a lot like our first, you know, where I think every game outside of the Marshall game have been double-digit wins. So it's really the same thing as that year. You know, we won every game by 14 or more that year, except for I think Marshall won at the end of the game. So, you know, that part gives you confidence that we played well, and it hasn't just been, you know, you win at the end because the field goal goes in or their field goal doesn't go in. You know, I always look at those games that either team could win that come down to, you know, one kick or something that don't really mean that team's better than that team. That, you know, you see it happen all the time. Kick hits upright and doesn't go in, and the team celebrates, talks about how disciplined they are, and you know what a great team it is, and you know then the other team can't finish. So that makes me excited that they've won in dominating fashion a lot of the games, and so we're gonna have to play good against a team that gives you a lot of defensive schematical issues because they do a lot. You know, I think they were a top 5 team in the country just 1 year ago. You know, so and the quarterback when he was healthy was lighting it up.
What have the seniors and the other guys who will be on Saturday, like D'Lo and Diaz, meant to you these past 3 years?
Well, since neither of those 2 guys have been here. So what you meant the other guys besides
Well,
them?
okay. The
Just
guys
D'Lo,
will be
just D'Lo's
honored
here for
on
3
Saturday.
months. I mean, they've been a lot. You know, obviously we didn't bring, you know, the guys that are natural seniors that have been here 4 or 5 years, we didn't bring them in. Again, Charlie did a great job. It's a lot of really good players in this class, and, you know, especially Harrison and Rashad, you know, 2 NFL guys that they found. So, I guess Katrina said this is the first group of seniors that will leave over 500. So, I think they've been a very big, you know, part of this transition and this, you know, potential of 2 championships in 3 years.
When they call Ray Ellis's name, are you half expecting to immediately hear the announcement that he'll be back next year?
When what?
When they announce Ray Ellis's name.
Oh. No, I don't think they give 7th years to guys, but Ray's done a really good job with it this whole time, you know, and, you know, plays in a lot of pain every week, and, you know, has played really well.
With this week being odd because of Thanksgiving and no classes and stuff like that, some of the players said it makes it a little easier to kind of focus on the game because they don't have to deal with all that academic stuff. Do you as coaches find this an easier week for prep, or is it more difficult because you've got to handle some logistics for guys?
Well, it doesn't really change for us because of our morning format. If you're an afternoon format, a lot of programs practice Thursday morning. I think 99% of programs practice Thursday morning except for 1. But, so kids can get home and stuff, but, so for us, it really doesn't change. And I believe they had class Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so, you know, they obviously don't have it Thursday and Friday, and then I guess they don't have it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week either.
Bama, not afternoon?
No, they still practice in the afternoon.
What does it say about this team that it feels like every single game there's a different guy, whether it's an all-conference guy like Harrison or reserve like James Charles or Miko, who steps up and really is a major reason why you guys win?
I just think this is like an NFL team kind of. You got people from all over the place. You got guys that were here, you know, like you said, for one guy for 6 years, a lot of guys for 4 or 5, and then you got all kinds of, you got all kinds of guys that, you know, came here out of high school when we got here, or junior college, or 4-year transfers, or grad transfers, or, you know, 2 starters, and, you know, D'Lo and the left guard that, you know, got here, one at the end of the summer, one once the season started. So, you know, I think they've done a good job of coming together and playing together as a team ever since that UCF game. feel like a very different team now.
So this Southern Miss team is one of the best passing teams in the nation, or top 25. How are you guys preparing for it, especially even with their quarterback, Jack Abraham, maybe not playing?
Well, you gotta be ready for both. I think the other guy runs a little more, so, like I said, they're really, like you said, they're a really good passing team with a great receiver and, really good scheme.
Last year, obviously you lost 3 guys early to the draft. Have you had those conversations about leaving early with any players, or right now are you expecting the older players who still have a year or 2 left to return?
I usually have that discussion, right after the last game of the regular season, or conference championship, so we're not distracted by it right now, so, I'll either have that next week or the following week, depending on if we win or not.
As you've reached the end of the regular season, every team kind of develops its own personality, its own identity, if you will. What do you think that the things are that you guys have been able to count on week to week? Like, this is the things we do on a regular basis.
I think we play really smart, which is probably the 2 things as a head coach, at least I do, that you really want in a team, is, your team, when you watch the team, they play really smart. They make really good decisions. They take care of the ball, they don't get a lot of penalties, which we've done ever since that Marshall game, seems like. And to play physical. That's what you try to, smart physical teams win a lot of games, and so I thought we've been very physical lately. You look at that game Saturday, you look at offensively, there's some guys, blocking for other guys like BJ Emmons in there, or John Rain, knocking guys out of bounds, 5 yards out of bounds. Or I think BJ actually knocked a guy out. So, I think that, when you watch our film, I think we're hard to beat right now because we don't make a lot of mistakes and we play physical.
The award ballots are due soon. How would you sell Chris Robinson's MVP case to someone who's considering picking Chris? Because the numbers are there, and you look at the team's record, the record is there.
MVP, you mean like Offensive Player of the Year?
Either or, Offensive Player of the Year, Conference USA Most Valuable Player.
I don't know. I really hadn't thought about it. He's won a lot of games this year and he's played really well. His touchdowns, we get caught a lot of times inside the 5. I don't know the numbers, but for whatever reason, we've thrown a lot of passes that guys get tackled inside the 5, and then, as you know, we usually go fast and just hand it off. So, our quarterbacks don't throw as many touchdowns as we used to, so that's probably the only thing that really isn't in there number-wise.
Did you submit the Nico Dotson fumble to the Conference USA for review, and if so, what would they say? Was it the right call to call that a fumble?
I did not submit it because on our film I thought it looked like the ball came out of his hand, but our film doesn't have a very good angle and I never saw the TV or anything, so I'm kind of done with that submitting thing. It doesn't really do any good.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.